In 2022, I created a Goodreads account and set a goal to read 75 books in that year. I read exactly 75 books, so reading has become a really big hobby of mine. In some of my older squitch hunting videos, I incorporated my book hauls and reviews, but I wanted to create a whole video dedicated to that. So come with me as I shop at Barnes & Noble and Half Price Books. At the end, I'll show you my shopping and library haul and give my thoughts about some of the books I've read so far in 2023. I have these timestamps below so that you could choose between 3 different aesthetics for your watching experience. There's a no-talking, calm, upbeat cozy, there's a calm, lo-fi cozy, and then there's a talking vlog, so I could be in the background noise while you clean. For David, shout out to the Surretus and Upside team.
오직 상처만 받고 있었지. 미안해 baby. 네가 없는 현실 너무나도 비참해. There's no one 너 같은. 너만 고통받고 있는 게 아니야.
My sister and I started the day off by going to the bookstore. In Northern California, there were ongoing storms, which had to stay in on the past 2 to 3 weekends. But this day had particularly good weather. The Caraval series is my favorite series so far. I read it all in 2022 and I plan to reread it again in 2023. In my opinion, Legendary was my favorite. I always like to check out what's on the book talk table. It's typically towards the front of Barnes & Noble, and I have read a couple of these. Cinder is my first YA sci-fi romance, so it has a special place in my heart. I always think about buying these books just for the fun of it because the covers are very pretty. It's typically for the classics like Emma and Sense and Sensibility, but I think about getting the Frankenstein novel just for like a Halloween decoration sometimes. I've never read a poetry book before, so do you have any recommendations? This one caught my eye because September is my birthday, so I really liked how the cover looks of this one. I've never read a poetry book before. The young adult sci-fi and fantasy with a little romance is my favorite genre, and this is a section of Barnes & Noble where I spend the most time looking for a new book. Matched is definitely a don't judge a book by its cover type of book for me. Looking at this, I wouldn't originally be intrigued or want to buy it, but I really enjoyed book 1. Unfortunately, book 2 and 3 fell off for me. I rated book 1 5 stars, I believe. Originally, I rated it 4 stars, but then I just always have it at the back of my head and I think about it a lot. Before I ventured onto sci-fi and fantasy, I would just read regular YA, but I wanted to explore more of the different genres, so in 2022 is when I started reading a lot of these books. I for sure had a princess era. I wanted to read all kinds of books that had to do with princesses, and what better book series than The Selection. Unfortunately, it fell off for me. The final 2 books, yeesh. Listen up. I rated this book, Spells Trouble, a 1-star rating. When I went to the Goodreads reviews, I think a lot of people felt the same way as I did. I have recently been on the hunt for a book by Alexandra Christo called Princess of Souls, so I was very excited to find the author's other works at Barnes & Noble, but I specifically want to read Princess of Souls because the character's name is Celestra, just like mine. I was like, no way. But it is spelled with an S. Either way, I think I will like it. I mean, I hope I will, because it has my name almost. I totally recommend Small Favors. I only gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because there were some scenes that scared me, but I have very fond memories of reading this book. I always see the Inheritance series around, but I never took it upon myself to read. Do you recommend? Oh, there's one about Lunar New Year. The Twisted Love series is an 18+ series and is so popular, and I have all the books right now. Book 1 I liked, book 2 was alright, book 3 I hated, I'm sorry. Book 4 is to be read. I have my reviews up on goodreads.com for all of the books that I'm commenting on in this video. The next store I hit up was Half Price Books, which is a secondhand bookstore. It's not as easy to find the genre that you're looking for. For example, YA, YA fantasy, and middle grade are all in the same section. I've read 2 books so far from this series, Come Back to Me, and I really liked them. They're interconnected but can be read as standalone. This is another cover that I liked, but I'm not sure if I'd be interested in the story. The entire series was on the shelf, so I was contemplating on buying it, but I decided against it. The first book from my haul that I'll be starting is Lady Killers. I bought this mini lamp on Amazon and I love it. I literally cannot read without it. The gore level in this book is quite high, so I do not recommend if you have a faint heart like me. So far, only the first chapter was extra gory, but the rest are relatively more tame. I have this huge tote bag full of books I got from Barnes & Noble, Half Price Books, and also library books that I got from last week. So these are my TBR currently, and let's go through them. First book that I got from Barnes & Noble's is Lady Killers by Tori Telfer, and I don't typically, okay, to be honest, I've never read a true crime book, but I really like Law and Order, and I'm this far already. Obviously, it's very gory and some parts are pretty disturbing, but I do enjoy reading something a little out of my element, and I think this is a good way to start. Next book I got from Barnes & Noble is Poison Season by Mara Rutherford, and this has been on my TBR on Goodreads for a while now. From Half Price Books, we have Stay With Me by Mila Gray. I'm pretty sure I have not read this one before because the backs, these look familiar. I believe I read both of these books. All of these books are interconnected, but you could read them as standalones. The other book that I got from Half Price Books is The Princess and the Prick, Fairy Tales for Feminists. This is in the mythology and fairy tale section, I believe that's what they called it. So this is how the book looks like on the inside. Short story. I thought it would be fun to read when I want something to read right before bed. A little bedtime story. Now we're entering my library book haul, and the first book that I read for 2023 is called The Sunken City by Emma V.R. Noyes, and I rated this a 2 out of 5 stars because there was a scene where the main girl, there are these two guys fighting, and then the girl goes in the middle and holds the guy's face, and basically it's that scene where it's like, you're not like this, don't do this. I could not believe my eyes when I read that part. It's not something that I would have expected from this book. 2 stars. That scene had me dock a point. Now we have Bad Things Happen Here by Rebecca Barrow. This is a mystery thriller. I've only read 2 or 3 mystery thrillers in my life because once I read these things, I can't stop. I read this within and finished it within 3 hours because I can't wait. I need to find out what happened, who killed who went to jail, etc. The main character in this book is Luca Lane Thomas. She is queer, black, biracial, and then her love interest is someone who's Filipino Irish. I thought that was very interesting. Did I already say how many stars I gave this? I believe I gave it 4 stars. This book is Zyla and Kai by Christina Forrest. I haven't read this one yet. I believe it takes place in the summer, and since we're still in winter, I don't know if I want to read a summer themed book because I'm not in that vibe or mindset just yet. She doesn't believe in love, but he is like a hopeless romantic. I might be wrong. I just skimmed, but this is another TBR. And the final book I got from the library is called Wicked, or Wicked? No, I'm sorry, Wicked, Let Them Fear Her Saints. Or is it Wicked Saints, Let Them Fear Her? By Emily A. Duncan. A girl, a prince, a monster. That's all I need to know. If there's a fairy tale type book out there, I want to read it. Here is the stack of books for now. And oh, let me show you a little something. I have not 1, but 2 neighbors who have a little library outside of their house. So I got a little treasure hunt. I think this person, whoever dropped these books off, were in their magical Harry Potter phase, but then they phased out. First one is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. These are very thin, scholastic books, but wow. The writing in there is quite tiny. If you did choose an aesthetic for your watching experience, which one did you choose? I would have chosen calm, upbeat, no talking. I love that vibe the most. Anyway, that's it.